Welcome back. Today, we will explore the life, execution, and legacy of William Wallace, the Scottish hero portrayed in the movie Braveheart. Wallace was born in Scotland in the 13th century and grew up with a strong sense of justice and love for his homeland. He became a symbol of freedom and resistance to English oppression. Wallace's rebellion against English rule was fueled by the capture and execution of his beloved Marion Braidfute and the murder of the English sheriff, William Heselrig. He employed innovative military strategies, including guerrilla warfare, to achieve victories against the English army, culminating in the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Despite his brave efforts, Wallace was betrayed by Sir Jones Menteid, captured and executed in 1305. His brutal execution, involving hanging, disembowelment, and the display of his body, was intended to deter future rebellions. However, Wallace's legacy as a symbol of Scottish nationalism and resistance has endured, inspiring generations to fight for independence. We will also analyze the inaccuracies in the movie Braveheart, which, despite its errors, remains a powerful tribute to Wallace and the Scottish people. Its influence can be seen in art, literature, and ongoing political autonomy movements in Scotland. Wallace's courage, quest for freedom, and leadership have left an indelible mark on Scottish culture and identity. The beginning of a hero, the making of William Wallace. William Wallace was undoubtedly a man who became a symbol of freedom and defiance. Born in late 13th century Scotland, Wallace grew up with a deep love for his homeland and a strong sense of justice. Raised in a period of high tensions between Scotland and England, he was educated in combat and developed exceptional skills with the longbow and sword. Wallace's childhood was also marked by stories and legends of his ancestors who had fought for Scotland's freedom in earlier times. The invasion of Scotland by Edward I of England in 1296 served as a catalyst for Wallace's transformation into a national hero. His early years were also notable for an encounter with English soldiers in which he stood up to their oppression, displaying his unyielding spirit and defiance of English domination. A flame ignited, the defiant act that spawned a rebellion. William Wallace maintained a relationship with Marion Braidfute, the daughter of a Scottish noble. Their love story, shrouded in mystery, is said to have inspired Wallace's determination to fight for Scotland's freedom. Unfortunately, Marion was captured and executed by the English, further fueling Wallace's desire for revenge and his commitment to leading his people to liberation. Wallace reached a pivotal moment in his life when the brutal murder of English Sheriff William Heselrig ignited his rebellion against English rule. This act of vengeance resonated with many Scots who were tired of living under English tyranny, leading to the rapid growth of Wallace's rebel army and a brutal response from King Edward I. Despite facing well-trained and heavily armed forces, Wallace's determination and military genius made him a formidable opponent. The art of rebellion. Wallace's mastery of war and strategy. William Wallace consistently devised innovative military strategies during his guerrilla war against the oppressive English government. Wallace displayed remarkable adaptability in his tactics, utilizing his knowledge of the Scottish terrain, his understanding of military strategy, and his charismatic leadership. He achieved astounding victories against the well-organized and heavily armed English army through guerrilla warfare techniques such as ambushes, swift attacks, and disruption of English supply lines. Wallace's willingness to learn from his mistakes and adapt his strategies was evident after a disastrous defeat at the Battle of Falkirk, where he recognized the need for a more unified and organized resistance. The Battle of Stirling Bridge stands as a testament to Wallace's military genius and the indomitable spirit of the Scottish people as it changed the course of the First War of Scottish independence. Wallace's strategy of exploiting the narrow Stirling Bridge and attacking the disorganized English forces as they crossed proved to be a devastating ambush that led to a Scottish victory. This battle showcased not only Wallace's strategic brilliance, but also his ability to exploit his enemy's weaknesses. The heartbeat of a nation. The enduring legacy of the Declaration of Arbroath. William Wallace led Scottish forces to a resounding victory against the English army, despite being outnumbered. This triumph elevated Wallace's status as a brilliant military leader and defender of Scottish independence. The battle became a turning point in Scotland's struggle for freedom and served as a rallying cry for oppressed Scots, spurring them to continue their fight against English oppression. The Declaration of Arbroath was a powerful document that not only declared Scotland's independence, but also recognised Wallace as the guardian and defender of the Scottish people. This declaration emphasized the sovereignty of the people and influenced future democratic movements and political thought. Its passionate language and call for freedom and justice continue to resonate worldwide, making Wallace a precursor to other influential documents like the United States Declaration of Independence and the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. Shadow of Betrayal, the heart-wrenching tale of Wallace's betrayal and capture. The tragic story of William Wallace's betrayal and capture marked a dark chapter in Scotland's fight for independence. Sir Jones Menteid, once a reliable ally, turned against Wallace, leading to his capture and execution. Despite his unwavering dedication to the cause, Wallace's fate was sealed by this act of betrayal. In 1305, Wallace was ambushed and defeated near Glasgow by Menteith's forces, leading to his arrest and transfer to London. There, he faced a sensationalized trial and was ultimately found guilty of treason. On August 23, 1305, Wallace endured a gruesome execution. He was hanged, drawn, and quartered, with his remains displayed publicly as a warning to those who dared to challenge the English crown. In the shadow of the crown, the unjust trial and politically motivated charges against William Wallace. It's time to delve into the tragic chapter of William Wallace's life, where he faced a brutal trial and execution. The trial was designed to portray him as a dangerous rebel and traitor, and he was publicly humiliated with a procession through the streets of London. Wallace faced numerous and grave charges, including treason and murder, but the most controversial charge was treason, which he vehemently denied. The trial was biased, with no legal representation for Wallace and limited opportunities for his defense. The verdict was predictable, and Wallace was sentenced to hanging, drawing, and quartering. The execution was a gruesome spectacle, designed to break the spirit of the Scottish people and discourage further rebellion against English authority. Despite the brutality, Wallace's defiant statement of not owing allegiance to the king would be remembered as a symbol of the indomitable spirit of the Scottish people. Agony of a Martyr, the grim end and eternal legacy of William Wallace. William Wallace suffered a horrifying and gruesome punishment for his defiance of the English crown. While still alive, his abdomen was opened, his entrails were removed, and his limbs were brutally severed. His remains were displayed to the public, with his head placed on a pike on London Bridge, and his limbs sent to various parts of the kingdom as a macabre reminder of the fate awaiting those who dared to defy English rule. Despite his tragic and brutal demise, Wallace's legacy as a symbol of Scottish nationalism and resistance has endured through the centuries. His story has been passed down from generation to generation, inspiring countless individuals to fight for independence. From literature to art, his heroism and sacrifice have been immortalized, and his influence extends beyond culture, shaping the symbols and rituals that define Scottish nationalism. Cinematic heroism, Hollywood's legend of William Wallace. In Braveheart, William Wallace, the Scottish hero, was portrayed in the movie Braveheart and continues to have a lasting influence on Scottish culture and identity. While the film successfully brings Wallace's legend to life, it takes creative liberties with his background, education, and key events. For example, the film depicts Wallace as a commoner when, in reality, he was born into minor nobility and received an education that prepared him for leadership. Other inaccuracies include the portrayal of characters and key historical events. Despite these discrepancies, Braveheart remains an iconic film that captures the spirit and determination of Wallace and the Scottish people. It serves as a lasting tribute to the man who has inspired generations of Scots and freedom fighters alike. Beyond the realm of art, Wallace's story serves as a rallying cry for political movements seeking greater autonomy within the United Kingdom. His memory is kept alive through annual commemorative events, such as Wallace Day and the Lanark Lanimers Festival, where Scots gather to remember his sacrifices and ongoing struggle for self-determination. Wallace's unwavering bravery, relentless pursuit of freedom, and inspirational leadership have left an indelible mark on the hearts and souls of Scotland, resonating through the centuries and inspiring generations of Scots and freedom fighters alike.